Sleepers Podcast. Wednesday, July.
Can you not run stuff like that behind me? What is that?
Well, I just thought I could do something you didn't expect after you lied to me to be in California. Let's address this, Cart. We've addressed it offline. You are still in Cali. You are still technically, that means you're on vacation in California. You told me multiple times, both on and off the air yesterday, I'm flying home Monday night. I'm flying home Monday night. You went so far as to give me answers when I asked what time your flights are. You went so far as to say, oh, I can watch the Summer League games on the flight. The entire time you said all these things, you knew that your flight was not Monday night and that you would still be in California Tuesday morning. Why? Why did you do this?
After we've been doing this for a couple of years, Greg. There's a level of comfortability I feel like between us. You know where I'm at all times. You know where I'm going to be. I became predictable, and this is my way of being a little bit unpredictable. You didn't see this coming, and I think you don't like that. We got to talk about that probably deeper, but you didn't see this one coming.
So you want me to be uncomfortable and in a place where I don't like things and can't predict you.
Well, don't put it like that. Don't put it like that.
If that's why you did this, that's a pretty horrid reason to do this.
No. I think the unpredictability sometimes of me enhances the show.
That's certainly true. But goodness, man, it seems like another unnecessary lie. I thought we were working on this and getting through this.
Did I lie?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we got that out there. I did. Okay, so I relapsed. All right. I relapsed. I was doing good. I relapsed. You know what? I can't dwell on it. I just got to be better.
But I can tell this was one you knew wouldn't hurt. So you just wanted the mischief of this. I can see how much joy is in your eyes right now.
I just wanted to feel a little something. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, man. You have a problem.
Just a little lie, you know what I'm saying?
This is one of those. I would really respect this if you had said the reason was because you knew. If I knew you were in Cali, I would have booted you from the episode and brought Riley or Ralph on. I would respect that play from you.
Well, that was part of the play.
See, I don't think it was. I think you're now using that because you know I can stomach that, but the real reason was just for the mischief.
No, it was not for the mischief. It was not whatsoever. But there was a portion, you know what? I think it's time to pat myself on the back here. I was going to compound the lie, like flight delays, tire flat on the way to the airport, took a gift card voucher to take a later flight, but I didn't do that.
You know, it is when I step back broadly and think about it, it is kind of awful and tragic and heartbreaking to know that I have essentially made my entire livelihood dependent on a man who loves to be unpredictable and lie for fun. That's I love it, but I also this is gonna crush me at some point, isn't it?
I mean, there's always a possibility of that, but doesn't that feel good?
No. I think yeah, I'm just kind of stomaching that right now. I'm realizing it's settling in that I am dependent on a thoroughly undependable person.
Yeah.
That's just tough. But at the same time, you're undependable. You are indispensable.
Undependable, but indispensable.
Bar.
Facts.
And that lie was indefensible.
Ooh, new Twitter bio.
Okay.
Should we get to the YouTube comment of the day?
No, because I still have more on this. Are you you claim you're flying home today now, right?
Yes.
What time's your flight today?
My flight is at 11 a.m. or no, 11:45 Cali time. We board at 11:08.
Why'd you look to the right?
I was just thinking. That's my thing.
Seeing some things?
I'm just thinking.
So you'll be home then tonight?
Our plane is scheduled to land at 7 p.m. Michigan time.
Hmm.
So tomorrow morning when we record, I will be back at my normal spot.
Did you even play 9 yesterday?
Yes.
What was the course like?
It was a par three, like super, super short course. Links at Terranea
Links at Terranea.
or Terranea Links, either one of that order.
Terranea links.
Yeah.
Did you buy a hat?
Nope.
Seems like you buy a lot of hats when you go places.
I would, but like everything at this place, this is like an expensive resort. Like 9 was 60.
Hmm.
That's a lot.
You pay with card?
Quinn paid for it and I Venmoed him.
You did.
Yeah, I paid for a push cart though. They didn't have real carts. Are you about to go through my Venmo charges?
Venmoed him, huh?
Yeah, I did.
Huh.
60 smackaroos.
Your last Venmo was on April 5th to Steve Manchu.
You realize that I put it on private because of people like you who are nosy as hell.
I don't think that's true.
Oh, here we go. Hold on. You're not about to do me like this.
I don't think that's true.
You're not about to question my character.
I am questioning your character
Hold on a second here.
immensely.
Look at
That
$60.
that Venmo to Vanessa just hit so deep. God, I miss it. Okay, let's move on. YouTube comment of the day. Oh, no, last thing. I said this to you privately, but I'm just going to say it again. If I could get plus money odds on you not flying home today, I would take it.
Okay, it's a bad bet.
It's a great bet.
Okay, it's an awful bet.
Yeah,
Just
don't tell me about bad bets. If it's plus money, I hit it right now.
uh, okay. Let's go to the YouTube comments of the day. This one comes from Christian Fernandez. Both of you are such Louisville haters. Why can't you both talk nicely about Pat Kelsey and Louisville for once? Pat Kelsey has done a great job building this team, and Kenny Payne was horrible. And like you all still find ways to disrespect the University of Louisville. I want to make myself unequivocally clear. I got no issues with the Louisville Cardinal basketball team. Your coach is a walking shtick.
Yeah, I like you're not hearing what we're saying if that's your interpret. Like, why do you hate Louisville? We don't hate Louisville. We think Pat Kelsey is lame.
Yeah. And
That's it.
bonus YouTube comment of the day. I was right yesterday when you tried to tear me down for using the term laying the groundwork. It works.
Yeah, I still personally disagree, but if you want to take that as a win, you can. It's fine.
Can I?
I personally disagree with it, but you can.
But I can take it as a win, right?
You can take whatever you clearly, Carter, clearly are allowed to do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it.
I am?
Yes. There's no controlling you.
Okay. That's dangerous.
It's extremely dangerous. Okay, to the comments section today, Carter. We are actually going to read comments for the first time in a couple days. Hopefully, this has really calmed down and gotten a little more organized. It looks like it actually has. We will start with. I read the Luke Simone Biles one yesterday, so we're going to start after that. Here we go. Same Old Lion says, is Ant doing the Ant thing, proclaiming he's the number one option on Team USA? Or is there probably some truth to him needing to take the torch?
Some truth to Cooper Flag needing to take the torch from Team USA?
Ant.
And oh, sorry, my apologies. I was like, oh, I think Cooper maybe should take it. Um, I think honestly, maybe there is because if you look past it, like moving forward, the future of USA basketball is not LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. Those guys are moving on. It is Ant and Jason Tatum and
We're so
Tyrese
cooked.
Halliburton.
We're
Yeah,
so cooked.
yeah, we need Cooper to come save us.
Yeah, we're
Is
extremely
Cooper is Cooper the face of USA basketball moving forward?
No, he can't be yet.
Why can't Cade be on this team instead of Tyrese Halliburton?
Because we win 14 games a year and Cade raps in the backseat of a car on the way to like a Whole Foods.
But he's awesome.
He's good.
He's better than Tyrese Halliburton.
I don't think so. I don't.
I do.
I wish he was better than Tyrese Halliburton. I wish he could get us to the Eastern Conference Finals. That'd be awesome if that could happen.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what good coaching and good players will do.
Yeah, TJ McConnell, killer. Like,
Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner,
yeah, maybe we would be in
Not
position,
Monty Williams.
probably
There's
be
not
in
an Indi-
position
there,
to trade for
there's
some
n-
dudes.
there's not an Indiana Pacers fan who would not trade Tyrese Halliburton for Cade Cunningham.
Disagree strongly. If Cade was Tyrese Halliburton, we would have been in position to be trading for guys like Pascal Siakam in the last couple of years instead of acquiring bad contracts and throwing money at Tobias Harris just to feel something. Like,
Mm.
is Miles Turner way ahead of Jalen Duren in your mind?
Uh
Not really, right?
not
So we don't have
no,
talent.
not really.
We don't have
Not
talent
really.
then. We don't.
Well, yeah, well, that's once again, you know, we have no shooting.
Okay. Well, see, we have shooting this year, right?
On paper, yeah, we got some shooting.
So we should be good. If our superstars maybe should win some games.
Yeah,
I hope so.
me
That
too.
would be fun. I hope it happens. No, I compared this with Ralph the other day. I think you would actually like this. When the Dream Team stuff was going on back in the Last Dance documentary, it was like Bird and MJ were like fighting to not give the torch to, or Bird and Magic were fighting to not give the torch to MJ. And then also
Mm.
like Christian Laettner was in the room. That's this, like, this is KD and LeBron should be fighting to not give the torch to Anthony Edwards, who should be coming in to bust their ass and take it from him. But oh, by the way, Cooper Flag is Christian Laettner, but he's actually good and ready.
Who's Jason Tatum?
Like Chris Mullen.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah. Yeah. We could do a full comp if needed, but yeah, that's my take. Back to the comments. I'm really rusty with reading the comments. There's no pace to this. I'm sorry, folks. Jay Hart, aka Feels, says I'm quickly learning people don't know / don't like the movie Hoosiers. What are your thoughts? He should be careful with this question with you.
Yeah, it's an ass movie. Straight up. It's an awful movie. It's awful.
I haven't seen
It's
it.
awful. It's awful, and it lost you Liam McNeely.
I haven't seen it. I can't comment, but it feels like something Indiana people are really passionate about and nobody else cares about.
I don't know why they're passionate about it. Like, just take a step back. The movie stinks.
Maybe I need to watch Hoosiers and figure this out
It's
for myself.
awful. The cinematography is awful. The plot's
Oh,
awful. The
big
hoops
cinematography guy.
awful.
You
Oh, massive.
big time
Yeah.
cinematography guy. Yeah.
Hmm.
What's some of your favorite cinematography ever?
Interstellar.
That's actually not a bad answer. All right, Sleeve Nash
I've
says
also never seen Interstellar.
you have me. You're doing the whole laps around my brain today. I don't like it at all. That California sun got way too much for you. Sleeve Nash says, Greg, I really liked your take on Brandon Potts. I hesitated to click on the video because I didn't want to hear you bash Brad for 12 minutes talking about how he lets too many guys go. Basketball's 90% fit and confidence. Potts found a good fit at Santa Clara, had a breakout year and landed on a good spot on the Warriors. But for real, who does he think he is? There was no spot for him on that team. He needs to get over that and move on. That was my take. I agree with it clearly. Do you agree with that take, Hart?
Yeah, I do. Like I get. I don't like that. There's just like this retroactive like looking back and being like using this as a chance to be like, what was Brad doing? No, there was a reason why it happened the way it did. It worked out for both parties. I'm glad it worked out for Pods. Like it's just both sides can win. Not everyone has to be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And Pods looks a little strange in the light, like victory lapping Illinois years
Yeah.
later, you know?
I'm trying to also like I like Pods. I think Pods is going to be good. Who's that one most recent NBA player where they were like talking like they're just like the next up and coming kind of, but they like weren't there yet?
Yeah.
It's approaching that like kind of like relaxed territory.
Yeah. He averaged 9 a
Like
game for the Warriors. Like,
yeah, like I'm buying Pod stock. I think Pod's gonna be a good NBA player, but also like he's running around here like he's Pac.
I am selling pod stock. I want to make that unequivocally clear. I think we are reaching the peak of pods right now. And I would abandon ship before we get further down the line. Malik Perry says, Brad's starting to look like a coach who wants a finished product instead of developing one. What guy on Illinois has developed on this team? I don't have enough evidence yet to support my theory, but will by the end of next season. I love throwing something like that out and then saying, I don't have enough evidence yet. That's just a bar, Malik. But I think you're pretty clearly wrong here, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys have. Is he saying from last year's team or just in general?
He says, what guy on Illinois has developed?
I mean,
There's only
Terrence,
two returning players on the team. Like,
yeah, but also like player development has never been an issue for Brad.
yeah, I don't see
Like
it.
that's not the angle you want to take.
A lot of Illinois fans jumped in and gave examples, but like Trent Frazier got better, Terrence Shannon got way better, Alfonso Plummer had a great year at Illinois after coming over, Damask clearly developed and got better, Io got better year after year after year, Kofi got better year, like Coleman got better year after year after year. Just Malik, damn it, come on. I Maynard says, I imagine you guys have been on a lot of road trips. What state has the best license plate design?
Homer pick here. I love the new Michigan one, the green one. Like that a lot.
It's okay. It's all right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a great answer for this. I think the license plate I get the most like physical enjoyment out of every time I see it is a Florida license plate, but that's mostly just because I'm in Florida.
That makes sense. The worst is Ohio.
I don't hate the Ohio one.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like the Texas license plate.
Yeah, something about it always feels racist.
I also don't like Texas though. But also my
Really?
thoughts and prayers are with Texas right now. Tough week for Texas. Hurricane.
True. Thank you, Gregory.
You're welcome. More from iMainer. Greg, I don't think you overreacted to how Braun shook Cooper's hand. Remember, he still has clutch sports. He looked at Flag and saw cold, hard cash money. And then there's a screenshot of LeBron staring at Cooper Flag while Cooper Flag dunks with lustful eyes, Cart.
In Bron's defense, I do watch Cooper hoop all the time and find myself with lustful eyes.
That's a little sketchy of you.
How so?
Just a little, I don't know, just a little lusting. It just seems a little sketch.
Dude's nice.
Doctor. Huh?
Dude's nice.
Yeah, sure. Just it's a little sketch. Doctor says cardio Edey, but man, can he set a screen? Have you guys ever seen someone set screens as well as him?
No, no, he's one of the best screen setters I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, Doctor was also trolling, but he's truly a great screen setter. Manor says, do you guys remember Myron Roll? He was a standout football player at Florida State in the late 2000s, was a Rhodes Scholar, and is now a neurosurgeon. What college basketball player this season gives Rhodes Scholar vibes?
Ooh.
Maybe this should be our new accountant. It's Rhodes Scholar.
Rhodes Scholar. I kind of like that. Who is the Rhodes Scholar of college basketball this season?
Namari Burnett has always struck me as a smart guy.
Yeah. Do we think Will Cheddar's smart?
Like Dr. Namari Burnett.
Dr. Namari Burnett kind of hits.
Yeah. Will's smart, I'm sure.
Well, who's that one guy that Indiana got? That was like random. Was his name Hagden?
Langdon Hatton.
Yeah, that dude is definitely gonna be an optometrist.
Same old lion says we need justice for Meow Fizzle. We probably should have someone go hunt and kill that coyote that harmed him. I don't know what that means.
Either do I. Move on, please.
Purdue Fox says, do we just rest Edey the rest of the summer league now and let him go back to Team Canada? Double without them even passing him the ball.
Please tune into the channel for a video on that. But yes, please, oh Canada.
Burner says, rank Zach Edey's skills: screening, size, inside scoring, shot blocking, cardio, psychotic fan base following, being Canadian, Braden Smith merchantness.
I don't want to address that.
I do. Inside scoring 1, cardio 2, size 3, screening 4, being Canadian 5, shot blocking 6, psychotic fan base following 7, Braden Smith merchant 8.
That feels right.
Maynard says, what do you guys think about the difference in physicality in the NBA compared to college? I think it's a big part of why in the NBA, the on-court product sucks. The NBA is 90% chucking threes and iso ball leading to foul baiting.
I'm starting to get fatigued on the like college hoop versus NBA hoop thing. Like just watch which one you want to watch.
Yeah, it's two different games. I prefer college, but I can understand why people prefer NBA.
And that's fine.
And if you're a great player, you work in both. By the way, like
Facts.
is what it is. Augie says, "Is Gigi Jackson the next great ball hog?"
No, because great ball hogs are also certified bucket getters.
Gigi Jackson is not the next great anything. That would require him to be great.
How
Steve
many
Nash.
different how many different variations of GG Jackson could you come up with? Like you said, what is it? Good God Jackson. Like which ones could you come up with? What are we
Um,
sticking with?
Grizzlies got Jackson.
Okay, that's a good
Uh,
one.
get gone Jackson. I don't know. That's about it right now.
Okay, we can work on it.
Yeah, give me some time. Sleeve Nash says, "What's one random team like NC State that y'all think can go on a run in March this year? A team nobody expects but has potential to do something special."
I'm gonna say either Florida Atlantic or Michigan.
I can't tell if that's a bit to pair those two together, but thanks. I appreciate that. I do people expect Florida?
I thought like they're in the top 25, so can't really pick them.
They're like fringe top 25 though.
If that's the case, I would love to pick Florida. I would love to honestly take a shot at Xavier as well.
I'll take Virginia. I'm buying Tony Bennett. Buying low on Tony. I like the pieces they added this year. Sleeve Nash says, "I turn on the TV to let it watch me. Sleeve, Carter, and Greg. Name a better big three."
I mean, if we're doing big threes here, like
What kind of bar?
I get it, but like I'm Edey, you're Braden,
Hey,
Sleeve is Brian Waddell.
I turn the TV on to let it watch me. Sleeve, Carter, and G. Name a better big three. That's where you messed up though. Like you should have gone G instead of Greg. You get the 3-bar rhyme out of 4 instead of the 2-bar. That's X's and O's, basic stuff. I'll talk to you offline. Purdue Fox says the year is 2040. Edey has just wrapped up a 16-year NBA career. Edey sits down on his porch on his multi-million-dollar home overlooking Niagara Falls from the Toronto side and picks up his phone to A. Kristen Peak just tweeted that Zach Edey's NBA career is the most overrated career of all time, and she doesn't see how his life translates to retirement. Shocked the Grizzlies would allow him to do that.
That's a great comment.
It really is. Middle name Mateen says, "Has no one noticed that Florida has a 7'9" freshman that actually has a decent build and doesn't look like a stick bug? I'm not sure how Purdue didn't get him. I thought they get anything and everything 7'2" and above."
Respectfully, that guy's not good at basketball.
Yeah, he's been very around the radar of elite players and programs, and he just isn't very good.
He is what people think Zach Edey is.
He's worse than that, I think, too. But
True,
yeah.
probably.
But who knows? Good for Florida. Let's see. Coy has the final comment today. Does Caitlin Clark record 35 triple doubles across her entire career? Some perspectives. There have only been 35 triple doubles in the history of the WNBA in 28 seasons. The Fever have never had a double until now. I think that's what that's supposed to say.
Gotta be triple double, right?
Yeah, it could be triple double. I don't know. It says just double. Must be triple double. Does Caitlin Clark record 35 triple doubles, more than all of WNBA history combined? Yes or no?
Yes.
I think so too. That's crazy. It's a
Yeah,
good
I
point
do.
by Coy. There's your comments for today. Cart, you lied to me,
I did.
and you're proud of it too.
I wouldn't say proud.
You know who would never do that?
Who?
Duncan Mechanical Solutions. If you're looking for quality furnace repair, but more importantly, Cart, if you're looking for someone you can trust, go to Duncan Mechanical Solutions. Comfort and quality. That's their standard. Your standard? Lying. That's yours. They, Duncan Mechanical, are an HVAC company that serves Northeast Indiana and Southern Michigan. You serve California while telling people in Michigan you'll be in Michigan. Whether it's heating and air conditioning, plumbing, kitchen, bath remodeling, or emergency services, whenever you need them most, they're there. And they tell you they're there. And then they show up and they be there. Duncan Mechanical Solutions has reliable service that you can count on. Go to duncanmechanicalsolutions.com for more information.
The HVAC people that have your back.
Topic number 1 today. It's time to do some Evan Miya related content. Love Evan Miya. Evan Miyakawa. He's in the Discord, by the way. If you're looking for a reason to join the Discord, you can interact with Evan Miya himself. His final transfer rankings have come out, Cart. And I screenshotted this yesterday because I want to run these by you, because there's people that I trust in the metrics world, Evan being the premier one. Trust what his numbers say, all of his models, every little bit of work that he does, I think enhances college basketball. And then there's you, who, let's make no mistake about it, you like to just be like eye test, you like to be feel, you like to say what your heart feels. So I want to know if your heart agrees with what Evan Miya's transfer rankings are here. His official final 2024 transfer class rankings. I'm going to go down the list of the top 15. Number 1, St. John's, best transfer class in the country. 2, Vanderbilt, headlined by A.J. Hoggard. 3, Louisville, headlined by Chucky Hepburn. 4, Indiana. 5, Kansas State. 6, Missouri. 7, Michigan. 8, Arkansas. 9, Memphis. 10, Kansas. 11, Baylor. 12, Kentucky. 13, Ole Miss. 14, UCLA. 15, Texas Tech. Your thoughts?
So one, always respect to my good friend Evan Maradona's work. He is Himothy in the analytics space. I will always hold weight for my coffee king, Evan Miya. With that said, I need discussions on this. I do, because look, if you want to tell me that Kadari Richmond has that much pull for St. John's, honestly, I'm all for that, because I think Kadari Richmond could be a first-team All-American, right? So, like, that's not out of the ordinary to put them up there. But you got to talk to me on why Vanderbilt's number 2. You got to talk to me on that. I don't understand that. It doesn't make much sense to me. And look, I think that he touched on a lot of the major transfer classes here. But I don't know how you can make an argument that Vanderbilt and Missouri had better recruiting classes than the likes of Kansas, transfer classes than the likes of Kansas, Baylor, even a team like Arkansas. Like, I don't know how that equates.
So going through Vanderbilt's names here, like
Indiana, sorry, I overlooked Indiana. Like, Indiana, like, had one of the better, and they're behind Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt added 10 transfers. I think that's part of this. Like, the teams that needed to literally build an entire roster from transfers, like, belong up here, right? Jason Edwards is probably the biggest, like, production name guy. 19 points a game for North Texas last year. Outside of that, like, A.J. Hoggard might actually be the best or second best player that they added. I think Evan himself would probably he doesn't dispute what his model tells him. Like, I know that from talking to him in the past, but I do think Evan is also, like, practical enough to, like, look at the results and be like, oh, that's surprising that my model points this out, and then kind of flesh out why that could be the case. I'd love to hear his explanation of, like, why is Vanderbilt here, because I don't think Evan truly would say that, like, the impact of the players Vanderbilt has added is more impressive than, like, what Indiana's group has. Michigan at 7 feels maybe a little right to me, but, like, it would feel more right if some of the schools ahead of them weren't ahead of them. Like, I'm taking Michigan's class for sure over Vanderbilt, for sure over Missouri's. I think over Kansas State's, like, with all due respect to Coleman Hawkins and Achor, like, I don't know. Am I off base and thinking, like, Roddy Gale, Danny Wolf, Lad Golden is a much better starter level trio than some of these schools ahead of them?
I mean, yeah, but Coleman, Achor, McDaniel, they got big ooh.
I guess that's a toss up.
It's a toss up. It's a toss up. I would say, but like
Louisville?
You said,
Chucky Hepburn, Terrence Edwards, Kayshawn Pryor. I mean, there's more, but, like, aren't those the premier names?
Probably a toss up too.
Really?
Maybe.
Oh, I forgot. You do the Kayshawn Pryor dance a lot.
I do love Kayshawn Pryor.
I forgot. Yeah, Terrence Edwards is really good. Maybe.
I mean, but also, like, when you look at it too, like, this takes into factor, like, who left as well. Like, I saw someone comment that Arizona should be in here, but Arizona lost a lot too.
Why isn't Illinois in the top 25? I only read the top 15. Illinois is not even in the top 25. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah,
Why does it make sense to you? Is it time to say it out loud a little bit?
because their transfer class, they did a good job of getting guys and hustling towards the end, but Kasparis is not a transfer. Kasparis is not a transfer. Will Riley's not a transfer. Big T, not a transfer. Merez, not a like the bulk of their transfers might not play as much as you think and might not be as good as you think. Like Kylan, Trey White, and
Harry
Kerry
Booth from
Booth.
Rickhouse.
Uh, Okay, Humrickhouse is a good ad, but outside of that, Humrickhouse is carrying a lot of weight for that class, I think. Credit to Brad for pivoting, but he traveled on that first move.
Okay. Yeah. Just feel like we got a lot of shit for people being like, oh, you're way too down on Illinois transfers. Like, nah, there's a lot of analytics that back up that these guys aren't the most impactful players for good teams. So the freshmen and the other ads they have are really impressive to me, but maybe that group of guys that we just mentioned is not going to be the most impactful for Illinois. I guess we'll find out. Who is the best transfer class in the country? Like, I mean, he has St. John's one. I don't think that's a crazy take, given that, in my opinion, they got the best transfer in the country in Kadari Richmond. If we were to go through St. John's entire class, it's
Wait, oh,
Kadari.
whoa. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off here. Did Alabama not make the top 25?
Appears they did not. No.
Huh. That's very interesting. Well, I guess I mean they brought back a lot. It's not necessarily transfer, but like
Yeah.
Big Cliff.
Yeah. It's interesting. St. John's class only has 4 players in it, but Richmond, Davon Smith, Aaron Scott, and Vince Iwuchukwu is enough to be the number one class in the country.
That's crazy. I would have Kansas one.
Okay.
I think you gotta have Kansas one. Store, Mayo, Griffin. Yeah, that would probably be my number one class.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Kansas all the way down at 10, I believe, on this list. Yeah, I think that's the right answer. I would go Kansas. I would consider Indiana. And I think that's really it. And I'm surprised. I'm surprised that the model shows that there are higher teams. But anyways, go subscribe to Evan Miya. We love Evan Miya, friend of the program for sure. He was on the draft show. Shout out to him for joining. And if you want more insights from him, join the Sleepers Discord. You can interact with him yourself. Topic 2 today, I'd like to have a conversation about what being generational means, because we've been yelling about this in the Discord for about a day in the episode discussion thread. And I have had the takeaway that nobody seems to agree what the word generational means. And maybe being a generational prospect is a lot different than being a generational player. You've been silent, as you usually are on Discord happenings. That would be because you're in California lying about not being in California. So probably a little too busy to check what's going on there. But to summarize it for you, the Cooper Flag discussion turned into a question of, well, there's always a generational prospect. He's like the 7th generational guy in the last 7 years. And I want to discuss that. Is he actually, like, going through the last 20 years, what players have come through high school do you think should have been dubbed generational prospects based on what they were at the time?
See, that's the thing, and I don't even know because I obviously you just pointed out that I did not participate in the discourse in the Discord. But like when you talk about generational prospects, you got to look at like what they looked like in high school, coming up basically, and maybe early on in college before they got to the NBA and proved it. Like Ant Edwards is considered one of the best players in the NBA, one of the best young players in the NBA. I don't think anyone was calling Anthony Edwards generational at his time, right? Like in high school. I don't think anyone was even calling like Jason Tatum generational at his time. Now guys that were generational, probably like a Zion, that was kind of a generational thing, a one-on-one thing. I personally was of the upbringing that Cade Cunningham was actually generational. Like I think that with his winning, what he did with that Montverde team, I think he was considered at his size to be generational. I think Coop deserves this tag. I do. Because I think that if you go back and you look in the last like 10 years of like what the generational prospects would be, I think Cooper would fit in that mold and you would take Coop over a lot of those guys at the same time.
Okay. I appreciate the insight from you, but that also feels like a big dodge question.
Well, how so?
I want to know who the generational prospects have been. I hear you and understand and think I agree with how you're approaching the Coop discussion. But like I get the thing that's interesting to me here is like,
There's three. I get what you're saying. There's three that come to my mind right away, and I'm a forgetful guy, but the three that came to my mind right away were Zion, Cade, Wiggins.
Cade. See, okay. All right. It's interesting. There's just a lot of people who disagree on this. That's the interesting part to me. Cade was a great prospect. I don't think there was anything about Cade coming up that felt like something we haven't seen before. And to me, that maybe that's my definition of it.
I was just gonna say, so is it something you've never seen before, which makes someone generational?
Or at minimum, it's got to be like an archetype of a player that you see like once every 30 years, right? Like,
Hmm.
and I also think part of the generational discussion that frustrates me is I think people throw out what they were as prospects for what they become as NBA players. Because I know this from the discussion. Like Akil, shout out to Akil, who's in our Discord. He's adamant Kevin Durant was a generational prospect. Kevin Durant was considered the second best player in his class. Greg Oden was the generational prospect. And I'm not saying there can't be two generational guys in the same class, but nobody thought Kevin Durant was that one of one to even consider taking him first. Like it was not considered even a debate should he go over Greg Oden. And he was great in college, but like we are doing the revisionist history thing where we now see what Kevin Durant's been in the NBA, and clearly there's nobody that's ever been like him. But
Was Chet generational?
I think Chet's close. He's right on the cut line for me. There to me, there's a pool of guys I would say are unquestionably generational. I can run through those names, and then there's a pool of like close. The pool for me that is unquestionably generational in the last 20-25 years. I think Cooper Flag is on it. He's not the highest name, but he's the most recent. I'm working backwards. You don't see a 6'9" point guard that like I just haven't seen it. I don't know what that is. The only name that it reminds me of is Ben Simmons, who is also on my generational list for what it is.
Ooh,
Like
okay.
Ben Simmons coming up as a prospect was 6'10" point guard. We don't see that. Like, and he got to the league and he had a big time injury before he even played. And then he was awesome for like 3 years. He was on track to be a generational NBA player. And then it all fell apart in a very one of one unique way. But the prospect was there. His year at LSU was one of the best one and done years we've ever seen. Um, I think Wemby is clearly generational. And yeah, I know like we're doing a big flurry right now, but Flag, Wemby, Ben Simmons, all generational. I think Zion was a generational player. I think by the time Zion got to college, we were saying we've never seen anything like this. He is obviously the number one pick. And it didn't work out yet. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. He's had injury stuff, he's had weight stuff. It's concerning. But as a prospect, we've never seen anything like him. Then I think you got to go back further beyond those four. There weren't a ton in the late 2010s that I can think of. I think like Anthony Davis is a consideration.
Hmm.
But Anthony Davis, I don't think was generational as a high school player. I think he was generational once we saw what he was at Kentucky.
Yeah. Oh, I would say towards the end of high school he became generational.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, he
I
was the
guess.
consensus number one guy in the class, but like
Yeah.
part of this is a prerequisite. I think there's got to be no debate you're the number one player. And that's to me that disqualifies some guys. Like let's look at Chet and Paolo. Very unique prospects. If there's a debate on who's better, how are we saying you're generational? You're not even annual. Like
Okay.
I don't know.
That's a bar.
I don't know.
It was Anthony Bennett ever in this
No.
because when
No.
you say like this one-on-one thing, like one-on-one prospects,
No.
like how do you dissolve like just the freaks of nature, like the Edys?
Anthony Edwards was a great prospect. He wasn't generational because we've seen other explosive guards that can shoot that are 6'5" shooting guards.
Was
Like
Lonzo generational?
I don't think Lonzo was good enough. I think Lonzo as an archetype could have been, but I think like even watching him in college, he was good. He was never like a no-brainer. Like people thought Markelle Fultz was better than him. Like it was a good class. That's all that was. I think Cade falls into like he's good. He's a good guard category. He's not generational. I think I'm trying to go through some other, Michael Beasley, Derrick Rose. People have said, "Oh, Michael Beasley was generational. He went second in a draft behind Derrick Rose."
Derrick Rose might have been generational at the time.
Maybe, and then
Yeah,
injuries got the best of him. But he was an MVP very young.
we hadn't seen something like that in a long time. Like that, he was kind of the initial, I guess, like just this athletic 6'3" point guard kind of thing.
Yeah. I think Odin was definitely generational. I would say Kevin Durant wasn't because Odin was the guy in that class, and then he got hurt. So
I hate that so much though, because Durant was just.
Well, but that's where there's a difference between being a generational prospect and a generational player. Like we can draw the line on that, right? Like, are we? Because if we're saying Kevin Durant's generational, was Carmelo a generational prospect? The guy that went third? Like,
was LeBron generational?
He was great.
Was LeBron generational?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, just making sure. I wanted to hear it.
Yeah. So like my list since LeBron, I think would be LeBron, Greg Oden, Derrick Rose, Anthony Davis, Ben Simmons, Zion, Wemby, Flag. That's my official list of 8 generational prospects. Now, you can look back and say a lot of those didn't pan out. Most of those that didn't pan out were due to injury, in my opinion. But like coming up as a can't miss prospect, I think that's the list. And I don't know that there's many you can even argue should be on there outside of that make much sense to me as a prospect.
One, I think I agree. 2, what would the score be between that team and the USA Select team?
Like, am I getting them at their peak high school?
Yeah.
124 to 76.
Okay, I just wanted to check.
Yeah, I love that team. It's a really good team. Final topic today is a Carter Elliott brainchild. You got to love that. We are going to look at the preseason top 25, and you want to both come up with a list. Maybe we can collaborate on this list of 5 teams that are in the top 25 that will not be at the end of the season, and 5 teams that are out of the top 25 that will be in the top 25 by the end of the season. So you can pick what preseason top 25 poll we use. You can lead this one, my friend.
We are going to use a good friend of the program, Jeff Borzello's Way Too Early ESPN Top 25. And we will be collaborating on this one. So headline will be GregWaddell collaborates with Liar. Sorry, since we're going to stay on that theme on this one. So obviously, given the Way Too Early top 25, we do this like every single season. There's always a group of teams that makes their way into the top 25. There's a group of teams that make their way out. They go in and out, in, back and forth, this, that, and the third. So, given this Way Too Early top 25, I want to start with the teams that are located in the top 25 that will end up out. There's one caveat here, though, Gregory, because we're not going to take the easy way out on this one. I need at least one team that is in the top 12 that'll finish outside the top 25. Even if you don't truly believe, you got to pick one inside the top 12 that maybe falls off a cliff and ends up outside of the top 25.
Interesting. Okay, I'm game for this.
Are you sure? Would you like to change anything about this? Because this is a very fluid exercise. I was going to say 1 through 15. Is that too much?
I don't want to change anything. I want to let you rock. I want to get the ball to my best player and let him do his thing.
Okay. All right. Let's do it then. Let's start with what team would be the classic Caleb Love North Carolina team that fell off a cliff, went from 1 to nothing. Shit. Last year's Michigan State team, which was 5 and fell out. It was never in the top 25 or to be heard from again. What team is most likely to do that out of this top 12?
Can I hear the top 12?
Of course you can. You have Kansas at 1, Bama 2, UConn 3, Houston 4, Gonzaga 5, Baylor 6, Iowa State 7, Duke 8, Arizona 9, North Carolina 10, Auburn 11, Texas A&M 12.
Oh, I have my answer.
It's in North Carolina.
No.
Is
So
it? Who is it now?
there are teams on this list that are more likely to be out of the top 12 by the time the season ends than the team I'm going to name. But if we're playing the like, could they be this year's Carolina team? If we're playing
Mhm.
that game, which is the question you asked me, that implies they need to be considered a favorite. They need to have the hype of being one of the very, very, very best and completely underwhelming and letting everybody down. So that's what I'm after. I'm ignoring the Auburns, the North Carolinas, the Iowa States, teams at the bottom that like they're going to be good. Maybe they just won't be top 12 good. I'm locked in on a team that is 12th according to Torvik's projections for next season, but is third in most people's polls. It's the Yukon Huskies card.
Ooh, talk to me. God,
Here's the talk.
way to give Hurley his clip.
I know, but here's the talk. The reality is this roster is a lot less talented than previous seasons. UConn fans won't even deny that. I still think they're really good, but like Donovan Clingan's gone. You are going to massively downgrade at center, given the bigs that are on this roster. We know that as a fact. So even if everything else is great, even if Caravan takes a leap forward, even if Aiden Mahaney's Cam Spencer, but better, you massively downgraded your most important star position from the last 2 years. And I still think you have a lot of stuff to figure out at point guard beyond that. So, look, I think they're really talented. If we wanted to get crazy, which I don't, but if we did, you could have the conversation about like, is the guy at the top of the mountaintop that just signed for $50 million, is he really that motivated this year? Now, it's Dan Hurley.
Mm.
He's always motivated, but like, we've seen it before where guys that are like motivated kind of take the foot off the gas a little bit. I'm not saying Dan Hurley's going to do that, but I'm speculating if there's a team that it could happen to, it could be this roster.
I think it's a fair speculation just given roster talent in general, because you look back to coming off that first championship, they follow that up with having Donovan Clingan and Stephon Castle, two top 10 NBA draft picks. This team's going to look a lot different. It's not going to be as talented. Now, that might not hurt them, and it probably won't. They're still going to be good. But I think it's fair to question talent-wise, is this really the third best team in the country, or is this like we got to respect Dan Hurley what UConn has done, which I'm not against, but like we're just lining up roster talent wise. This is probably more along a team that's like 12.
Yeah. Which is why, like, in Torvik's roster cast, they're 12th. Like, they're behind Texas, which is crazy. I called it out for being crazy the other day. But if we're playing the, like, who is the team who could underwhelm here game, I think UConn's more likely than Kansas or Alabama are.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. All right, I'm gonna hate putting UConn in the graphic if we do this.
I know. I'm
Uh,
making a list for the graphic right now.
Good Lord. Okay, the other four teams, some other candidates I'd like to throw out there that maybe you could either push back or go against.
Also, no, I'm now demanding because I don't want to put UConn on the graphic, so I need us to come up with 5 teams that could be outside the top 25. Because your caveat that they're outside the top 12 is different and hard to put on a graphic. So let's find 5 others that are just in the top 25 that could be out of it.
Okay. I like to make a case for Arkansas.
Make the case.
My case for Arkansas is that there's too much love to the older guys that were part of some of his issues at Kentucky.
Okay.
Like, is he gonna ride DJ Wagner and Adu Thiero to the end? What if Big Z's not good?
Yeah, I have no qualms about this. DJ Wagner was not good last year. Big Z was not good last year. I didn't love Adu Thiero last year. So
Does John O. Davis, is he gonna just cash a paycheck, or like
yeah, it's a fair question.
it's?
I
I
like
think there's a lot to go along with it.
I like Arkansas in it for sure. Let's lock Arkansas in. Is Kentucky in the preseason top 25?
They are currently number 23. Yes.
Gotta have them on this list.
Okay. And yeah, gotta okay.
Do I
I'm
need to
good for it.
elaborate on that or no?
No, I think everything is set for in that one.
Their best player might be Kirk Risa.
Oh, Jeremiah Fear. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, you're right.
Like I just that's a reasonable, plausible outcome here. Just want to make sure
Oh,
you know that.
100%. Okay. All right. So we have right now Arkansas, Kentucky, some other teams that are kind of at the bottom half of this. You have Rutgers at 25, UCLA 24, Texas at 22, Florida at 21, Ole Miss at 20, Cincinnati 19, Indiana 18. Any of those stick out that actually could be candidates?
Do you have one?
Indiana.
Ah, you want to put Indiana on
I
here?
want to put Indiana, yes.
Cart.
If there's a Woodson, there's a way. If
Cart.
there's a Woodson, there's a way.
If there's a talented roster, he's not in the way.
But also, if there's a Woodson, there's a way.
I hate that I have to be the person going to bat for Woodson. I guess you get to overrule me on this, but like their roster's like seventh in the country good,
Only one I want, and get their 18th.
which is already what we're docking them for. We can't dock them more. They're not going to be worse than 10 spots worse than they should be, man.
Give me three other teams that could go in this spot, and I will maybe consider leaving Indiana out of this exercise.
I need you to read me the whole 15 through 25 again.
Got you. So 15 is Creighton, 16 is Purdue, 17 is Marquette, 18 Indiana, and then Cincinnati, Ole Miss, Florida, Texas, already did Kentucky at 23, UCLA, and then 25 Rutgers.
I mean, all of those. Every team from 18 onward is more likely than Indiana in my mind. But like that's all. There's a big time drop off after the top 17 in this poll.
That's very true. So I think UCLA should be a part of this. Just because.
Why? Because they were bad at basketball last year and they're all back? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. All right. So UCLA's in there.
You know who else should maybe on there? Rutgers, the team who doesn't have a center. Like they're going to start Ace Bailey at the 5 card.
Is that kind of fun?
That doesn't mean it's good.
But it's fun.
Why didn't they just get a center card?
They got Zach Martini. They got Zach Martini.
Oh, my bad. I forgot they have Zach Martini.
You hate martinis.
Whoops. Like,
you're not a martini guy.
I'm not a martini guy, no.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go with UCLA.
Also not a Zach guy if we want to talk about that. But
whoa.
Cody carried the Sweet Life.
Okay, Hearth stray right there.
I love He's Z. He's not Zach.
Oh, respect. Okay. So we're gonna go with UCLA, Arkansas, Kentucky, Rutgers. I want to throw Indiana in there.
Like Cincinnati and Ole Miss and all of them, right?
Like, yeah, okay, but I don't want to put all those teams, so I want to pick another one that's a higher ranked team. I'd like to put Creighton up there.
No, we can't do that. Calk's too good. They're better than so many teams in the Big East. They're not falling out of the top 25. I refuse Creighton. I'd rather put Indiana than Creighton.
Okay, Indiana it is then. I get my way.
Can we just put a team that's clearly worse than Indiana though? Like, please.
Okay. All right, fine. Like there's a very, very all right. You're right. We're given the opportunity to put Cincinnati here, and we're just not doing it. Okay.
Yeah, they're bad. They're not good. They're not very good.
Okay, so just so you have this written down: Arkansas, UCLA, Cincinnati, Kentucky, Rutgers.
Correct. The 5 teams that are most likely to fall out of the top 25 by season's end are those 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Fun part of the exercise.
Fun part. 5 teams that are outside of the top 25 that should be in it. You can bat lead off here. What do you got?
Ooh, okay. So some options here. These are the next in line teams if you want to, if these strike your interest at all. Texas Tech, Xavier, Oregon, Kansas State, Maryland. Those are the next in line teams.
I will never allow us to put Maryland on this list. I'm intrigued by Oregon and I'm intrigued by Kansas State. I think you're going to be intrigued by what's their name? Xavier.
I would like to put Kansas State as a team that ends up there.
Okay, we can lock in Kansas State. I like
that. The team of spunky, just like losers actually win.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Tang bounce back coach for his reputation year 2.
Yeah, like it just ends up working.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Oh, I don't know if I want to put. I don't know if I want to get there with some of these other schools. Would you like to make a case for Michigan to end up there?
For the fourth or fifth spot, I think I would. I mean, I don't know what to say. I've said it enough. Like, I think they have a top 3 front court in the sport, and if Roddy Gale's good, this team's going to win a lot of games in the Big Ten.
I agree with that. You know what? Actually, I would. Can you make one more Oregon push for me?
So Jackson Shellstad's going to be like a dude.
Okay.
That's my biggest thing.
I was doing exercise in my head, and as long as you led with Jackson Selstad, I was going to allow this to go. If I heard TJ Bamba to lead off that argument, I would not allow it. So I will allow Oregon to get into
No,
this
I
one.
think Shellstad's a dude, and more importantly, like Altman can coach, and the same way Willard came to the Big Ten and his first year, no one knew how to prepare for him. That's going to happen with Altman to me. And it might not happen to the other Pac-12 coaches because I don't think they're that good. But like Altman runs really good offensive stuff. Shellstad's a guy. Bama's good, even though you don't want to admit it. Like they're going to be good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay,
And
so
because
we
I
have
want
Kansas State and Oregon in.
Kansas State, Oregon in, if you're not going to let me put Maryland in, will you let me put my Ohio State Buckeyes in here?
I don't think so.
Can I get Michigan State in here?
I'd rather put Michigan State in than Ohio State. But I don't think we're allowed to put Michigan and Michigan State on here.
True.
That feels wrong. We
It
could
feels
put
like a
one if we want to really get there. We could put one, I think, and it's okay. I don't think we can put both.
I'll let you just put Michigan because I'm not willing to fight.
Can I give you all the other ones I would maybe make an argument for outside of Michigan State first?
Please.
Wake Forest. Hunter Salas is awesome, like really awesome. And maybe it's time for Steve Forbes to just get over the hump. The ACC stinks. Getting an extra year of Hunter Salas like matters. Nobody's talking about it.
That is true. And like if Omaha Blue can maybe develop a little bit, that'd be a good 1-2 punch. If we do that, can I make an argument that must bust experiment? Like you know how you say in year 2 it works?
No,
It works enough in year 1?
they don't have enough talent. They like even if you're gonna tell me St. Thomas is great, like the third best player might be Terrence Williams.
Oh, shoot. Wait, hold on a second. You know who we're forgetting? Oh my God.
Who?
What are we doing?
Who?
Illinois.
Yeah, they're not in the top 25.
No, they're not.
Okay, so Illinois is definitely in there. Fuck, that
Oh,
bumps Michigan and Michigan State. That
uh,
stinks.
okay. That I didn't even realize that. I'm sorry. That's on me.
All right, Wake Forest is one I still want to go to bat for. Is St. John's in the top 25?
They're not.
I'd like to go to bat for them too.
Okay, so Illinois, St. John's, Kansas State. You know, forget anybody?
Oregon.
Oregon.
We have one spot left that I'll let you decide where it goes to. But not Maryland or Ohio State. You're not allowed to pick those.
Xavier.
Oh, that's worse.
What?
I'm so out on Xavier. I mean,
They got talent.
I'll let you have it, but I'm
They
so
got
out.
they got talent.
They lost their best player. It was better than any of the dudes they brought in.
And I tried to give it, and I tried to pick USC, and you told me they didn't have talent.
Do you really still believe in Sean Miller like that? Like,
Uh,
wouldn't you rather we could?
you want me to tell the truth?
You do.
No.
Then yeah, if you don't, why are we doing that? Like, do you?
Because they got some guards, man. They got killers.
What about Providence over them? Like, there's a lot of teams in the Big East I think I would like go to bat for before I would pick Sean Miller in the NIL era.
Okay. Bryce Hopkins comes back healthy. Wesley Cardette's really good. Kim English is doing the Kim English thing.
What if Malik Mack's really good?
No, okay. You're I just gave you an inch, you took a mile. You just try to throw Georgetown into the top 25.
Later this week, we're gonna do teams that are like projected last in their conference that could end up top 25.
Most likely that could end up in okay, that's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. I'm okay with Providence, or I'm okay with anything else you pick here.
I'll pick Providence.
Providence is the answer. Okay.
Yes, I feel good about it.
Exercise. Kansas State, Oregon, Illinois, St. John's, Providence, teams most likely to break their way through to the top 25. Arkansas, Kentucky, UCLA, Rutgers, Cincinnati, teams most likely to fall out of the top 25. And Yukon, you just made us do a Yukon disaster 5 minutes. I don't know what that was about, but
Sorry. I mean, you started it.
one big thing presented by nobody. Well, excuse me, presented by Duncan Mechanical Solutions. Duncan Mechanical Solutions, the people you can trust, comfort and quality. That's their standard. HVAC company serving Northeast Indiana and Southern Michigan. Whether it's heating, air conditioning, plumbing, kitchen, bath remodeling, or emergency services when you need them the most, Duncan Mechanical has you covered. Go to DuncanMechanicalSolutions.com for more information. Cart, what's your one big thing?
They are a slam dunk of an HVAC company. My one big thing for today is that I'd like to do a little double tap on the chest here. I'm a stubborn guy. I got a little bit of Kristen Peak in my game. I die on hills from time to time. One hill that I was always dying on was that like I didn't need TSA pre-check. I didn't need it, right? Because I was a guy who was at the airport early. I was stubborn in my ways. And for too long, I held out on getting it. For anyone who flies frequently, even if you don't fly frequently, I think TSA pre-check is a must-have.
I don't hate that. I would have like really shamed that take a while ago as high maintenance, but like as a now frequent flyer card, I don't know if you've heard.
Hey, don't sleep
Yeah,
on the
I
boy.
see the value. I see the value for sure.
I love that you're just a flyer now.
I miss it,
Like
honestly.
you just like you went from being petrified in the airport to actually just thriving in the airport and in the air.
Quite a turnaround.
I mean, it's special and no one
What
wants to
bit, by the
acknowledge
way?
it.
Some so the haters are saying it was a bit. It was not a bit. Yeah. Crazy,
Absolutely.
crazy turnaround. Um, hmm. Oh, I'll do this as a one big thing. This speaking of airports, this is my last airport experience. I told you about this in Baltimore, but I want to give a quick shout out to an elementary school friend of mine, Cart. Shout out to Tess Isaac, who
Oh
is most
yeah.
definitely not listening to this, but Tess Isaac, just the girl I went to grade school with, and have not seen her since like, literally childhood. And I'm in the security line at the airport. We've just gotten through the check-in, and now I'm like checking the bags. The bags are in the little cart. You're on the little conveyor belt. You're waiting to go through. And I look up, Cart, and I see this woman, and I'm like, I'm 90% sure that's a girl I knew in eighth grade, but I haven't even thought about her or seen her or had any interaction with her since. No disrespect, but I'm like, that's gotta be her. And I was like debating, do I say anything? Because I thought it would be weird, especially like it's an awkward time to do it as you're like about to go through the security line. But then she turns, Cart, and she like left something behind me for a second, had to grab it, and she walked shoulder to shoulder by me. I was like, that's 100% her. But I still wasn't sure. I wasn't 100% because it's been so long. I had to hit her with the, hey, Tess? And when I said it, Cart, I got like eyes up, looking up. She's a short girl, looks up. Greg? It was this moment. It was just this like, whoa. We were not, as two human beings living separate lives, we were not supposed to ever see each other again. It's just one of those people. Like, everyone listening to this can probably imagine like 20 people like that. You probably don't think you're ever going to see again in life. Just saw her. Great girl. Used to have a bunch of classes with her. Really loved my time in class with her. Very nice, very funny person. And then we got to like chop it up for like 5 minutes in the line. And it was just like one of those classic, like, so like, what do you do with your life now? Come to find out, like, she's a teacher. She's taught at a school for 10 years. That tracks because she was like, great student. And just, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. She's like, what do you do? And I was like, I talk about college basketball. She's like, that tracks. Yeah.
That tracks.
It was just a really great moment. So shout
I
out to
talk
Tess Isaac. Made my day.
I talk college basketball with a big 6'7" bib.
It made my day. And then I got so distracted by this great interaction that I left my bag at security.
Special.
Had to
Just
run through
special.
the airport 10 minutes later and find it.
Just special, man.
Yeah. All right. There's the show. Safe travels to Cart if he's actually traveling home.